Welcome to the Light and Dark podcast. This is a space where we learn how to be fully human, embracing all aspects of the human experience, the light and the dark. We'll discuss all things health and wellness, spirituality, and everything in between. And I'll share all the impactful tools and lessons that I've learned on this planet so far. The light is within you. Can you feel it? Welcome back to the Light and Dark podcast. My name is Sam, and we are here for another exciting episode today. And today we're doing something a little bit different because I have been able to finally experiment here with an in-person interview with my dear friend Owen. And we are doing this live in full camera, which is super exciting. And really kind of curious and interested where this is going to go. But my brother here, he is just someone that I have found that for some reason just kept coming back into my life, and we just kept seeing each other multiple times at the farmer's market and just out and about. And every time we did, even like that one time on the beach where you were walking your dog, and I was like, okay, I'm not sure how or when this person has just been kind of like injected like a couple times into my life where I was like, we got to look at this. So after, I don't know, it's been probably a year of just random encounters, we're finally making this thing happen. And so I just appreciate you so much for being here. And yeah, feel
Thank you.
free if you'd like to introduce yourself, however that feels great, please do.
Thank you. Thank you very much. I'm really happy to be here, genuinely. It is an honor to be on this podcast with you, brother. Setting up, it has been quite the year, actually. It's true. We just keep randomly meeting. There was no escaping this connection. Can only genuinely see what the universe intended. And so surrendering to that, understanding that I have a friendship here, I have a brother here. Let's discuss. Let's see where life brings us. And I am so excited and honored to be on this podcast today.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah, it means a lot. And I just felt like there was something about the way in which we both approach life and this reverence for something bigger than us, and also not getting too lost in that, because I think one thing that I've really been understanding lately is that we have to take life and approach it from all angles and hold that intention that everything can be and is very, very intentional. It's very magical. It can be just so incredible. And we have to put the work in and live in this physical body and live in this physical world within the parameters that we were given. And we can continue to expand that more and more and more as we go, but not to get too lost in one or the other. That's at least how I've kind of approached it. And I felt like a very similar thing with you.
Absolutely. We both connected both within the world of energy and the fact that we were building something within the 3D world, very much within the creation of the reality that we want to see. And so we met, we discussed, our friendship began talking of energy, being able to say, yes, there are belief systems and an understanding of the way the world works. And the fact is, I love what you said about life is beautiful. Life is meant to be beautiful, and it can be filled with so many amazing things and so many things that are meant to teach us and meant to grow and meant to be able to say, this happened and get on with life and go on down the path. God, the universe, however you want to say, supports unconditionally. This is my belief. Everything that you are, everything that you believe, everything that you're trying to create. And so we met at a frequency, an understanding that we both are trying to intentionally put out something good in the world, stand by our morals, our values, create something beautiful, and to have the reciprocation of the world, of that being, it being used, whatever it is, this podcast being listened to, abundance, prosperity flowing our way, as the natural flow of energy is people receive benefit, they give benefit.
Mm,
And so we met in such a spectacular way, and again, just multiple random meetings where it was like, all right, I gotta just pay attention and listen to this and
yeah.
say, God, the universe is connecting me here. What is the
Mm.
purpose? I have to just listen, and this is for me in a bigger way.
Yeah, I feel like that's the premise of it, right? And for me, the whole last year, as we've kind of talked about before, a bit of a I don't want to. The word that's coming to me is a conundrum, but it's deeper than that. It was just like, okay, cool. I'm going to go internal. I don't have the energy for anything else but what I have to do,
Mm,
and the rest of me is just, everybody talks about this year of shedding, of the snake year that we
snake,
just
right?
came out of, and it's so true. I think everybody's talking about it because they feel it, but it was like I knew that this was going to be a seed planted for later. And at the same time, we talk about you talk about God giving you these situations, right? That you get to play with, you get to look at, you get to absorb into your being and say, what am I going to do with this? Am I going to
Mm,
freak out? Am I going to get really overwhelmed? Am I going to try to fight back?
mm,
Or am I going to just take a pause and say, okay, what is this? How is this helping me grow? And what is here for me to kind of take in? And I think that when you can look at life with that perspective, things start to shift.
mm,
And it might not happen overnight, but
mm,
the more that you start to kind of embody that, the more that things start to move in a really interesting and kind of powerful way. And I'm sure you could share a lot of situations or maybe even some instances is where that has been the case. But
There is a reason why people say, I am always lucky. And the fact is, it's not by accident. And other people have the same exact ability. It's being in harmony. It's being in a certain high frequency
mm,
where things always happen for you and you're always in the right place at the right time. That's how I've always felt about this connection, is that it was always just showing up the right place at the right time.
mm,
You will start to see how unconditionally supported you are. The more that you do pay attention to energy, the more you do pay attention, there's this shift that happens where, and you can start in any way, shape, or form, but the fact is, oh, energy is real. Spirituality is real. There is something bigger than myself designing things in a way that benefits me.
mm,
And it may not feel good. It may be meeting somebody who brings up your deepest triggers. That happened to me. Who brings up the very, very deepest core wounds and brings up as a mirror and says, hey, this is you. And that's the loving universe. Now you get to choose how to respond
mm.
and understand that everything, as much as it might hurt, is for you deeply.
Yeah.
And being able to always come back to that and to regrow and to find that healing, you start to understand how absolutely amazing life is and what a gift it continues to be. To where if you do have the ability to move on, learn the lesson, keep the lesson and let go and stop punishing yourself and move on, you can actually understand that life is a huge party.
Yeah.
It's a celebration. And I'm so grateful to be here. Let me tell
Yeah.
you, not a single thing.
It's like, I don't know. I think there's something that happens when you're dedicated to this path that you get into it and you're like, what the fuck am I doing? Like, why am I like, like things are so much worse now than they were before. And yet there's like these sparks of light that come in and you're just like, you see a glimpse of it and then something happens, at least for me, this was my view. It's like, I was like, I got enough of those synchronicities, enough of those experiences to start to change the way that I was approaching life. And for me, it was, really, really happened when I lived in Mexico. I mean, it's happened a lot of times in my early 20s and then mid to late 20s as well, and now leading up to where I'm at now. But I think when you have enough of those experiences to go off of, you kind of can lose track in the the hope and the wish that life is going to be like that all the time. And then when you get on to, I always think of life as like a pendulum, right?
Mm.
It's going to swing one way all the way up to that really, really high point, and then it can also swing the other way to that low point. And when you're not prepared for that, things can get really wonky. And it's like you're avoiding, avoiding, avoiding. And then you're in it and you're just like, what is happening to me? And I think from what I understand is like, this path is really about seeing if we can make that pendulum swing a little bit less, a little bit less, a little bit less, but that neutral point that we can get to starts to become better and better and better. It's not like life just becomes boring and neutral all the time. It's just that we don't have these strong reactions.
It's regulated.
Yeah.
I would say that a fact that anybody who has gone through some of the things that we've gone through understands that the nervous system is seeking regulation constantly. And that is from a whole series of upsets, emotional traumas, ups and downs that we went through in our lives.
Yeah.
We talked about earlier about the similarities between our fathers, which was profound. My old man was an incredible dealer and ex-addict, bipolar, schizophrenic, and he's gone. I realized recently that I still shop in the grocery store like he's with me, like I have his credit card. And it is such a habit that I was not aware of, a place where I overspend. In becoming aware of patterns, Tony Robbins talks about pattern recognition and then pattern utilization. We get to be able to honor ourselves, what we went through, which I'm sure anybody watching this has had an extreme childhood. Anybody like we did has gone through things, and their nervous system is now seeking consistent regulation. Now, how do we show up in the world aware of things like energy, aware of things like we have emotional traumas and blocks, and being able to say we want to build something brand new in the world? Well, that comes down to, well, self-awareness, healthy regulation, things like EFT tapping. I recommend that deeply for anybody. I'm not affiliated, but I love it. It changed everything. How we show up in the world, being able to understand that some traumas reactivate in the body
Mhm.
and cause people to live like that's happening right now without awareness. So becoming aware of the pattern, and then being able to utilize a different pattern consciously to create just a small vector change and a shift in the direction that you intentionally want to go. This is an amazing apartment. This is my brand new place, and there is an amazing amount of homeless people outside. And what really shocks me is there is a consistent physical deformity between a lot of people that I see. And it is the fact that they have their head down,
That's so true.
such like locked in such a powerful physical position to where they believe so deeply the reality of their story that has been now trapped in their brain for so long. And so understanding that physical, emotional, mental trauma shows up. But if you have healthy ways to regulate, if you have healthy ways to be able to deal with the extremes that God did not put you through without reason,
Mhm.
God knew you could always get through it.
Yeah.
And God, the universe, the fact is energy is real and you're always supported and always unconditionally loved. And that is well beyond our belief. So God is
Yeah. I mean, I wholeheartedly agree on basically everything you said, but I want to go back to this, like, because I see this a lot, right? We live in Santa Cruz. There's a lot of homeless people, and a good portion of them are like not just hunched over, but like completely like something's happened physiologically with them where their body is stuck in this almost like a 90-degree situation
Yes.
where they're literally like completely over. And as I work with the fascia and understand the body in a different way, I recognize that these traumatic patterns are physically contracting them in a way where it just happens so much and so often, and probably through various types of experiences and the drugs that they're taking, or what. Because it's not just like a normal. I mean, I'm not to belittle anybody, but you can tell that they've been through a lot
Yes.
and they put themselves through a lot.
Yes. And
Not
believe a story that is true
Yeah,
deeply.
but why do you think? Because I never thought about something that you said resonated with me, where it's like the brain is so forward in a story, and this is I've noticed it in myself. I don't know about you, but like we talked about earlier. I'm a pretty tall person, right? And so I noticed that like when I go to brush my teeth, or when I go to like pee or whatever, a lot of times I'm so deeply focused in what I'm doing, I'm actually hunched over because things are lower for me. I'm a pretty tall guy, but it's gotten to a point where I have to tell myself, you don't have to use your body to look down. And it's like, why? And then you start to ask yourself, why am I doing this? Why can't I just look down instead of bring my whole body? And then I've noticed, okay, am I actually contracted right now? Am I in a situation where maybe this was like years of laziness and, um, being so consumed by my reality? Or like, is there something happening in my brain where actually it's so deeply into this? Have to do this, and you're like in these old stories of like life is hard and I have to, continuously, like, I don't know, uh, something that I can't really articulate in words, but I'd love for you to speak on that if there's something coming to you.
Well, even um, the Roman leader who wrote Meditations even speaks about being in an upright place. You consciously create and connect. So we can go into the chakras now.
Yeah.
And the fact is, that is a higher place of energy. And it comes to story. I can only connect it within my own realm of the fact recently I realized that I believed a story that was not true. It had to do with my trustees and the fact that I couldn't rely on them, couldn't trust them. Through deep healing, I've had to realize that that story that I believed so consciously was not true, and that lived physically in a place within me.
Mm.
So I look at these people and I know stories.
Can you explain a little bit about the trustees? So do you mind, or like
No,
what
not at all.
just what that actually means for people?
So after my dad died, my inheritance quickly disappeared in one night. Terrible. And basically, my inheritance was stolen. And over the next 3 years, the two trustees that I inherited, two gentlemen, I was raised to be able to rely on them.
Mm.
And all of a sudden, my dad died, and they weren't there the way that I thought. They were just on the other side.
The
And
financial side, and that was it.
financial side
Yeah.
and helping my aunt and just not being participating at all. One trustee just basically ignored the whole situation. And in discussing that, I went through so much emotional trauma and have only just begun now regulating, really getting myself back on. I stopped doing my taxes. I
Hmm.
can share that only because I am now doing my taxes and getting all my debts paid off and doing these things, but only because that I had faith in Christ. The fact that something bigger is working and healing and it has a bigger plan for my life. That's faith in the universe. And the fact that the actual opposite was true of what I thought, which was I can't rely on these guys. I have to do everything by myself. The actual truth, even though it's been brought up a lot of emotions of the past and it's brought up everything about how I was raised. Again, my money habits when it comes to shopping, relationship habits, where spending money on dating, rules like that. And the truth is, I actually have to rely on these two gentlemen. I get to learn. God so intended me to learn, to rely on these gentlemen, to be able to get my taxes done, to learn how to budget, to be able to control my finances, and to live a life of surplus, and then to deeply then understand how I was raised. My dad inherited everything, never taught me a thing,
Wow.
never taught me a thing about money, budgeting, taxes. It was all done for him. And so when push came to shove, he died. I had no idea what to do. That's been the last like 4 years of just realizing, oh, I'm a little afloat. But, hey, Christ, the right mentors, proper heartbreak
Mhm.
sent me on the right direction of, you know what? No, I choose myself. And that's how it actually self-obsession came into play.
Oh yeah.
And so it all comes back to answer your question fully. I think it's trust and it's faith. You know your body is there. And yet being able to so consciously disconnect from the body, connect to something higher, and in this case, literally just be able to stand and just relax. That actually takes an effort. That takes space.
Mm.
That takes an intention, even if it's the smallest one, to create the separation from the identity that we have so built up. That is Sam.
Mm.
The identity that is Sam.
Yeah, it's just it goes into so much, but it's like one, you have to know that you can and should transcend the body and also live in it
Yes.
and use it to its full capacity, right? It's like this both and thing. And what's coming to me when you're talking is my partner is like a big meditator, you know. And when it comes to yoga and meditation, it's like you sit cross-legged in a specific posture, and not a lot of people teach you how to properly do it. If you can find a bolster or a cushion or something that can prop up your hips in a perfect way, then you're going to have a lot easier time than just trying to do it on the floor or,
Hmm.
you know. And I had to learn this through lots of trial and error and research and whatnot. When you're sitting that way, it doesn't matter if you have a bolster or a cushion or not. You have to be able to prop yourself up in a way where you're using strength, you're using your
You're
core.
using your core.
And it seems so easy when you're looking at somebody doing it. You're like, how are they just making this look like there's no effort involved? But, you know, she mentions all the time, she's like, it is effort. Like, you have to keep yourself up. And I've noticed for me, if I don't do that, my back starts to ache and I have all these situations. And it's like this weird push and pull between, like, I get to be in this upright, powerful position and I don't want to like force myself into a position that it's not yet comfortable with. And so through the nervous system, I'm working with it deeply, allowing it to slowly adapt to what needs to be, not just in meditation, you know, it's like so many other layers of life.
It's Kundalini. And so that, even as I work out in the gym at 45, one of my coaches says, zip it up. When you're doing any type of lean over weight, you zip it up.
Mm,
You bring that energy, you create your core. In Kundalini Yoga, when you go and you hold and you do the 1, 2, 3 hold, you're literally spiraling energy from the base, spiraling up, pressing the tongue against the top of the
yeah,
mouth, exploding up, creating, connecting to divine consciousness, and then also being able to bring that energy down
yeah.
and then shoot it up again.
And
And so,
not a lot of people talk about that. Everybody thinks it has to go up, but like what happens when it goes up? It comes back down.
exactly.
And it's like, yeah, that's a whole nother conversation. But I think it's a valuable thing to mention because not we're not just trying to ascend and get somewhere else, right?
Yes.
We're trying to actually bring all of that down within this physical body that can unlock new new dimensions and capabilities within yourself that you would have never dreamed of.
Yeah.
And this is what I'm like so passionate about teaching is that you're just so much more than what you think, than what we were taught to think in this society. And I think that we have so many capabilities that if we just have the proper tools and awareness, so we get to like feel that, you know, like when you like when you're working out, when you're doing Kundalini yoga, for me, I love Kundalini, but when I do fascial maneuvers, when I do these specific things that flips a state, you're like so quickly in a different version of yourself. You're just like, this is undeniable,
Mm-hmm.
and
Mm-hmm.
I talk about this all the time. Anything that I like, whether it's something that I'm like taking as a natural substance, like cacao, or these things that make you feel good, or these practices or whatever, like if I don't feel it, I'm probably not going to do it. I don't know. It's something about it, like, and that there's a bit of push and pull with that where it can't always be a healthy thing. Sometimes you need a little bit of determination and discipline. But I like to be able to know that what I'm putting my effort into is actually giving back. It's actually working. It's actually doing something.
I love humanity.
Yeah.
I love the body. I love the world and how designed and just how absolutely spectacular it is to be human
Yeah.
and what it means to be able to create the reality and the intention that we want to see.
Mm.
I love that. I love the fact of that feeling that's the reciprocation of the universe. That is what it means to be human and why it is worth waking up every single day and continuing to go out there is the fact that you are reciprocating and you are constantly receiving and you are constantly putting out. That's absolutely fantastic. That is why we're here.
So you mentioned, just because I know they probably don't know, but the book that you were writing about energy, can you remind me what it's called?
Self-obsession,
Self Obsession.
a modern guide to survival.
I love this. And what sparked this? What is it kind of, what's the premise of it? And
It's a simple book. And the premise is learning energy management in our modern day age and how important, so important it is to be what I have coined self-obsessed.
mm,
Now, I learned this after a particularly rough, it wasn't even a breakup, never even dated the girl, just a heartbreak, just a heartbreak. And it
like a heartbreak, like you knew she was the one, but she wasn't, didn't feel the same way about you,
basically,
or thought she was the one.
basically,
Yeah.
yes, exactly.
Okay.
And, exactly. Where it reached the point within me of where I realized my energy was being more spent on trying to figure out what I did wrong
Hmm.
when I don't think there really was, besides being too forward too quickly, not regulating my own emotion, not regulating my own nervous system. Of I became kind of obsessed with trying to figure out like what did I do wrong? Like why hasn't this girl messaged me? And it was just eh, I learned so deeply that I have to make my life extraordinary, to make my life the one that I want it to be, to have so much fun. So really being what I've coined healthily self-obsessed, which means taking care of the body, working out, eating the best foods, learning energy management, learning the fact that if somebody has triggered your deepest wounds, that that was a gift from God to take the lessons, release the trauma, and move on
Hmm.
and let it go. And the fact is, the very best thing that you could ever possibly do is become self-obsessed and say, how am I taking care of myself today? What is my favorite things to do? Am I actually doing these things? Am I working with intention towards the things that I want to see in my world? And so many energetic workers
Yeah.
have reached a place with somebody in their life where they have started to prioritize in some way, shape, or form somebody else or over them. And this is for all the healers, all the energy workers
Mhm.
out there for who need to know it's okay to be healthily self-obsessed, that it is a good thing to be. And also there are some really simple tips and tricks and regulations to be able to help yourself move forward to reach the place you want to be, which I'm sure is just moving on and being happy. So,
Yeah, it's so funny. I mean, David Guillaume, he's one of my favorite teachers of Kabbalah, and he talks about relationships all the time. And he always says, God is your boyfriend, God
yes,
is your girlfriend.
God is your girlfriend.
And it's just, he pretty much,
Feel that
you know, he mentions is like, okay, so if you're going to be searching for
love.
your love,
If you're searching for love,
if you're searching for your soulmate, do you want somebody who is like so overly attached, so overly obsessed with you and trying to do everything they can to please you, and they actually don't have really
their own
any
life,
their own life? Exactly. Or do you want somebody who's so
full.
obsessed, full and obsessed with the idea of their own relationship to spirit,
Yes,
their own relationship to their life, and how it's moving and evolving and growing in the direction that they want? How much more attractive is that person going to
so
be?
much, so
And
much
so
more.
and the other thing is you talked about, you're talking about self-obsession, right? But you mentioned it in two different ways. Obsessed with fixing yourself so that somebody else will love you, or obsessed with helping yourself step into the person that you love,
Yeah, you never
right?
needed fixing. The
Yeah.
fact is, you never needed fixing,
Yeah.
not ever. So, self obsession is about stepping truly into that place of self love
Mm,
and being so into yourself, so absolutely smitten with the person that you are and that you are becoming,
mm,
that, gosh, you just want to give yourself a hug.
yeah.
You feel so good about how you're taking care of yourself, how you're regulating yourself, and where you're moving in life.
So one of the things that I get caught up a lot in is kind of, let's say, the other side of that, and maybe you can relate or maybe not, maybe, but I can be very critical of
Yeah.
myself.
Oh,
So
yeah.
there's a way in which one or two things can happen, right? You either get so critical of yourself, of like judging yourself and all the things that you aren't or all the ways in which you're not, that you get stunned and then you actually don't do any of it. Or you can, there's the other side of that coin where people get so obsessed with fixing themselves, so obsessed with growth that they miss the point of life. And this is not to negate anything that you're saying, because I deeply
It's
resonate with
balance.
this concept,
You
but
have
it's
to have
balance. And then, right, like knowing your intention behind all that, because that's really key of saying, I am working on myself, I am growing, and I also want to enjoy life and everything that I meant to
because the whole point is
receive.
to be able to read this and let it go.
Yeah.
Keep it simple, go enjoy your life, and understand. Just truly be joyful.
So how do you do that? How do you personally, how do you talk about doing that in your book? How do you, is that something that you mention or that you've worked with within your own life of not getting too obsessed?
You know, it absolutely, it is the process that I am living through right now of coming to the full fruition of the patterns, truly boiling down everything that is me to the foundation of the recipe. How did I get to be like this? And in a healthy way, understanding like, oh, my dad went shopping all the time. There was never a problem. He could always swipe his card. We
Mm,
went shopping almost every single day. He
mm,
loved it. I can't do that. I have that pattern. So it's about pattern recognition and then being able to do pattern utilization in a different way to understand it's okay to love yourself. And I really do want to touch on what you said too. It's about balance too, because energetic workers tend to also go too far, to tend to try to do too much internal work while avoidance just, cut it out and completely just work, 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 work.
mm,
However, balance to where you get to be healthfully obsessed and love yourself and take care of all of your needs and also get up and also have fun and exist within that 3D realm. How to take that personal power, how to stack the energy, go out into the world and genuinely just have a great day.
mm,
So in this book, it is small tips, it's stories, it is the things that I have learned and how I have come to recognize my own patterns, seeking regulation within my nervous system, seeking growth within who I am as a human being. As an example, I learned recently that I have a tendency to sabotage money. Businesses that I try to grow based upon how I used to be in high school. I used to actually sell
Mm.
things that were not legal out of a place of desperation to try to support those around me. I don't have to do that anymore. But if some part of me still thinks that I'm still there, not safe or not making money in a safe way, I'm not going to want to do it truly. Actually becoming aware of that, actually feeling it's okay to fix that, actually feeling it's okay to love myself and going about that, and then doing it because there's enough talk too.
Yeah.
There's a point where all right, I've talked, I've healed enough. Now it's time to get out there. Now I'm making something new. I'm making a drop shipping company. I've realized that I just need to do one thing. Understand the patterns that have been holding me back. Honor them. Say thank you so much. And then just make the decisions to do it differently this time. So now I'm starting a new company, drop shipping, very simple, and I'm going to push it all the way through to fruition. Aware of the fact that I'm going to get scared, aware of the fact that there's going to be things that bring up this old past, but choosing, you know what? This is the life that I want to see.
Mm.
I've dealt with enough. Let's move forward. Enough of the stories.
So when you start to look at those things that are driving you forward, right? Because this is a big component for me is understanding what do I want? And sometimes that question it can be pretty loaded because I want it all, you
Mm,
know? And but I know a lot of people that talk about in different contexts the things that are driving you forward are the things that's like your internal compass, right? Your passion brings you forward to where you're meant to be.
mm,
And this is a way in which you can understand what is meant for you or not in an energetic way, right? I'm seeing where my energy wants to flow and I'm going to go in that direction. But then there's this other layer of it of like my nervous system wants something and my soul wants something different. And you kind of have to be able to listen enough and practice enough to understand the difference between those two things. And so when you decide on something like a business that you're gonna act upon, or something big in your life that's not just gonna happen for a day or a week or a month, it's gonna be like you're putting your commitment and your energy into this, and you're saying, "This is gonna be something I'm gonna do for a living," or a person that you're really gonna invest in, or something big. How do you decide on that thing? How do you let your passions drive you forward? And like you talked about, okay, you're going to do a drop shipping company. Why do you want to do that? Like, do you have a process that says that identifies like what do you want out of that life?
absolutely. And I would say the beginning of being able to read energy, understand that spirituality is real, and that the fact that you are unconditionally supported means the fact that there will be guidance along the way. And so there is a way to actually start learning how to read guidance
Mm,
and receive omens from the universe. And a lot of times following your passion is right absolute way to start down that path. And you will receive a confirmation that you are on the right path in some way, shape, or form, usually in a way that people are able to believe it. For me, butterflies. The perfectly timed butterfly allows me to know that I am on the right path. I learned that from The Alchemist. I learned that that is a way that God
mm,
speaks to you. And so,
beautiful book.
one of my favorites, Paulo Coelho, who was in a very dark place and had to literally learn how to come back to the light that, again, everything is real. Everything is real. It's a little scary when you begin to understand that, but you can relax in the fact of how supported you are by the universe and that energy is real, but it's a beautiful thing. So create it intentionally. You will see how much guidance you have. There's so much guidance from the universe in such a powerful way. And so you will see when it comes to this business, I received confirmation. When it came to this dropshipping idea, I received confirmation in my way that I understood that the universe was saying yes in a tiny way, just whispering to me, saying, yes, move forward, push this through. I received that. And what I believe is that confirmation. So I can only act. This is where the aspect of faith comes in.
Yeah.
Now it's just taking action on that inspired belief, on that inspired moment, on that inspired thought. You have to take the action too, because otherwise they live in different parts of the brain. Thoughts and feelings of, oh, I want to do this lives here. Taking action lives in the prefrontal cortex,
Mm.
which is why things can be like overwhelming for people or not. It triggers different parts of the brain. The amygdala goes into action, fight or flight mode or not. I'm not a doctor, but I understand at least a little bit of the fact of people will be able to regulate themselves or not. Taking action takes place up here in the front. There's a lot going on.
Yeah, there is. And I think what's coming to me is like you're taking that action because you got the guidance to go forward, right? But it's not up to you to decide if that's going to be for next week or forever. And by you taking that action, it's going to lead you to whatever it is that you are meant to learn to grow and evolve as a human and have fun doing it, right? But I myself included, but so many people get caught up in like, well, I did it, I acted on it, and it turned out terribly, right?
Been there.
But it's like, oh, if we can just trust that, like, that actually was a really beautiful experience for us to learn, and then, okay, maybe that wasn't the thing for us. Not saying dropshipping is not the thing, but I'm just using this as an example of like that was the guidance, that was the direction that we needed to move forward with, and we don't need to be glued to it being the thing because we're the ones that have to make the action forward in this physical world. We're just listening and we're bringing down this higher wisdom as much as we can. And I don't like the word puppet, but sometimes you kind of have to just surrender to what is. And then over time, you learn more and more and more, one, about your intuitive voice, and two, about what is going to be the most aligned for you. Maybe you're somebody that didn't I don't want to say like create this action plan, but look at the wider scope of life and say, what do I want? This is what I'm learning really, really big right now is creating the life that you desire in a way that's fully um, coherent with your values, with your direction, with your passion, with the people that you want to help, with all of these aspects that are you, really getting down to the core of like, who am I and what am I here for? And that's a really big question. But if you can just start to like kind of contemplate it a little bit and say, this is the best thing that I can do, that I know how to do it, and I have the means to do it. And then, boom, the rest is history.
Mm,
And then you just leave, like you give it to God, right? You're like,
yes. Yes,
yeah,
actually. And that's how you have people whose lives become examples. People, they either become tragic stories to avoid or they become epic stories to follow. And that is what humanity is all about. And the gift of what it means to be here on this planet, the amazing resources that we have, and how, again, unconditionally supported we are. So make sure you're aware, because that term unconditional means, too, if you are not aware of the fact that you have beliefs that are creating your reality, that it's going to support that too.
mm,
So become aware, become absolutely just smitten with yourself and in love with the possibility because we're here to create, made in God's image. Well, the very fact of creation means that we are creators. We are in a constant state of creation, of receiving and exchanging and giving energy. Even molecules are passing through us into objects and passing back. And we don't understand deeply why,
yeah,
but it's happening.
yeah,
And I read this morning about, my mom was reading to me about the theory of relativity
mm,
and how the understanding that Einstein took everything around us and put it into such a beautiful and simple understanding and equation of objects fall because they exist on the And then being able to take R, which represents all of the energy of everything, field of energy,
Hmm.
and actually have it just there, explained and connected. How fundamentally wonderful this world is. Einstein even had something called spooky theory, where he was so freaked out by it that he just didn't even bother to go further into it. And it's this that the fact that molecules will arrange themselves only when they are being looked at.
Which we now know is like quantum physics and double slit experiment and like, yeah,
Some of its finest. Oh my
yeah.
goodness, how rich this world is. How incredibly rich this world is. So become aware. Become aware of the patterns, and that way that you can actually create the life you want to see.
Yeah.
If you want to make a whole lot of money, you can. If you want to do it in a more realistic, upright, worthy way that supports millions of people, you can. Totally possible. And that makes you worthy. Makes you, oh, not that the money makes you worthy. You are worthy, period. You're worthy just to receive just by being who you are. I love
S-
this world.
So when you, and I kind of want to go into this because I know that you're driven and you're also rewriting a lot of your stories right now. And there's this aspect of business that I'm also stepping into. And something I've really been sitting with is, and we talked about this a little bit before, but it's like, how do I keep that right intention of giving, of helping people and not feeling like, because this is a belief that I've come up against lately, is feeling like by me charging money to somebody that I'm taking from them, or there's this slight little echo of like being taken advantage of that I'm so afraid of that I don't want to like.
Taking advantage of someone or being taken advantage of.
Well, both. I think it's because I've probably been taken advantage of, or I've seen it enough in my outside world, whether in my friends, family, etc., and also the world of Instagram and scarcity and all these tactics that people have been using for probably hundreds and maybe even thousands of years to get people to like spend their resources on things, right?
Hmm.
And so I'm like hyper aware of this, but I think it's too much where it's causing some issues around, yeah, but I'm offering something valuable. And this can extend into so many different aspects of business, right? Because I've realized that, and maybe I mentioned to this, maybe I mentioned this to you before, but it's like I decided that I was going to, for a profession, help people in health and wellness, or whether it be life coaching, or whether, like what I've been understanding as a chiropractor, went to school, got certified, and said, this is going to be my life. I'm going to invest my time, energy, and resources into learning a skill that is then going to help people. And then I'm going to charge money for it because that's going to be my livelihood. And, obviously I do something very different in some ways, but it's like doctors are the same way. Um, any sort of health profession, these are very generic examples, but you know what I mean? It's like these people decided what I want to do is help people, and I have to help myself by making money. And so is this something that you've kind of taken into account as you look at all these various different businesses and ways that you can make money of like, I have to sustain myself and not just survive. I want to thrive. Like I want to have a very wealthy life, whether that means making a lot of money or just having freedom of time.
And you
Um,
deserve it.
and we deserve it. And
And
I
we
just,
deserve it.
and so there's like a bit of a push and pull where it's okay. I see this belief, I have to rewrite it, and I want to make sure that the world works as it works, and we're creating a new world actively every single day. But
So many people are struggling with this right now. So many people are struggling with exactly what you just said. How do I speak? How do I moralistically exist in the world, be able to make money, receive it, and feel like I am doing good? Now, Tony Robbins says if you figure out how to help millions, you can make millions.
mm,
This is the question of how you were raised. How you were raised around money. Very strong beliefs. Some people have beliefs like money doesn't grow on trees,
Yeah.
that you're only a good person if you work hard, that you work really hard. Now, I believe that's a lie. That's
Yeah.
a very clever lie that has been taught to a lot of people. My grandpa worked himself into the ground. He's not here anymore.
Yeah.
Not any better for it, not a better man. I also, something else Tony says is that, because he asks this, why are people paid so differently? And it's said that all souls are equal, but they're not viewed as equal in the marketplace. And what do I mean by that? That means, how does a hedge fund manager get paid $100 million, $200 million for doing what? For working an hour the same amount of time that somebody at 7-Eleven is working, or so it's the same amount of time.
Yeah.
And it's because of the amount of effect that that human being actually has on so many other people around them. If that hedge fund manager can be trusted with $100 million of other people's monies, they can actually be relied upon to grow it consistently at a time of great strain and stress, create a consistent return, then that human being has so much more value in the marketplace
Hmm.
because of their skills and what they're able to contribute
And handle.
and handle, what their nervous system can literally handle.
Wow, that's interesting.
It's a very, because again, it comes back to all souls are equal. And yet the skills and how we are raised comes into play. The fact is, how does people like the Mars family, third wealthiest family in all of America, you have no idea what they look like, sell so many GMO packed candies to kids? Oh, it's like,
Like the Mars bars? Is that?
yeah, absolutely. Mars bars, peanut M&Ms, anything. That's all owned by the Mars family.
Mhm.
Snickers. And I grew up eating these candies, but you look at them and you go, this is some of the cheapest ingredients on planet Earth. Some of the cheapest.
Yeah.
And so money doesn't care. Money keeps flowing to them anyway.
Oh,
So money doesn't care if you're a good person or not. You're the only person getting in the way of your morality, thinking of that is a determining factor of you being worthy to make money or not. And so, two things I would really recommend just knowing and working like EFT tapping of I am worthy as I am. And the second thing is actually learning a skill that you can use to benefit others,
mhm.
to become quite literally more valuable within the
Yeah.
marketplace. And that balance of being able to know you're worthy, that you were raised with certain beliefs that are definitely affecting you now, and then being able to consciously make a decision about where you are, how to regulate your system. We've been talking about that a lot of self-regulation. That is what it comes down to, the fact that we get triggered. And God intends that to trigger you, the deepest core wounds within you, to be able to hold up the mirror to say, I love you. You need to heal this. God sees you. And that truly everybody does belong to God. That's been one of the greatest releases within myself of like any relationship, anybody. It's like, no, they belong to God. Their heart belongs to God. Their relationship with money, that belongs to God. We are here to help each other on a pathway moving forward.
Mhm.
And that is higher consciousness, always back to God. Always back to we are co-creating in this beautiful world where it is worth again getting up every single day and saying, thank you, I am alive. I get to do this again. Because as long as the sun comes up, you're not, oh, God's not done with you yet. I think that's a Jelly Roll song.
Yeah. I mean, it could be. I know I've my dad. He's been struggling for a number of years, and I feel like it's like he's hit rock bottom, and then maybe even lower and even lower. At one point, I could just see it, and there's nothing I could do to help, but it's just like I had to encourage him, like, yeah, but you're not. You're still here. You're not you haven't been taken out yet. And there's a big, strong reason for that.
Mm.
And now he's like actually finally after years, like starting to have some momentum in a different direction. I love it.
Congratulations.
Yeah.
Congratulations,
Thank you.
seriously.
But
Anybody can start an understanding pattern recognition.
yeah.
Patterns that have been repeated over many of years because of beliefs that have been hardwired in. So we're lucky. We get to become aware of this while we're young.
Yeah.
And being able to go, oh my gosh, even if it's just 0.5% change, I'm gonna go a different direction.
Mm.
A direction that I so intend. Because again, I look at the homeless people outside and I know, it was a story that they believe so deeply of old pains and patterns and traumas that they think are so real that exist in their lives nowadays that probably haven't happened for 20 years now.
Mm.
But they're stuck, locked in this place. And I go, man, I want to be different. I want to be intentional. And I look at, again, pattern recognition of how many places I've sabotaged myself. How many places in relationships where I moved too fast, where I built businesses and didn't follow through. Everything is for you. Everything is, are you capable of loving yourself so deeply that when you come to recognize these patterns and behaviors, that you have the right way to regulate yourself when it comes to honoring them,
Mm.
healing them, and then consciously choosing a different path, which is again why I go back to EFT. I
Do
go back to conscious talk. Please.
oh, I was gonna. Do you want to like maybe just show us something really, really simple? Like,
Absolutely.
where's the one that you normally go to?
So EFT tapping, and I invite every single person on this podcast to now do it with me.
So I just use my right hand for.
Yep. So you can
So,
do either hand,
okay.
but you
So
start
left
at the
hand.
karate chop center of the hand,
Okay.
just tapping, and you're gonna tap different places, and you can follow me. So just take a deep breath. Take a deep breath with me. Repeat after me. Even though
Even though
I may have some patterns
I may have some patterns
that I am not consciously aware of,
that I'm not consciously aware of,
I honor,
I honor,
love,
love,
and forgive myself
and forgive myself
anyways.
anyways.
And you go up and you start tapping on the top of your head. Even though
Even though
there's a lot of trauma in this life,
there's a lot of trauma in this life,
I choose
I choose
to let it all go.
to let it all go.
I have sat in so much past history
I have sat in so much past history,
inside of the temple, and I can let it go now.
and I can let it go now.
It was really heavy,
It was really heavy,
and I can let it go now.
and I can let it go now.
Under the eye, right here. I can choose new patterns
I can choose new patterns
and beliefs,
and beliefs,
and I can choose to love myself
and I
deeply.
and I can choose to love myself deeply,
Even though
even though
I may have some unconscious creation,
I may have some unconscious creation.
I choose to honor,
I choose to honor,
love,
love,
and forgive myself anyways.
and forgive myself anyways.
And today,
And today,
I consciously choose
I consciously choose
to let go of the past.
to let go of the past.
Underlift. Today is the perfect day
Today is the perfect day
to let go of the trauma,
to let go of the trauma,
to let go of the past,
to let go of the past,
to say, I love myself.
to say I love myself.
And you're going to tap here. I can be gentle with myself.
I can be gentle with myself.
I can love myself.
I can love myself.
I can forgive myself
I can forgive myself
for making so many mistakes.
for making so many mistakes.
I love myself.
I love myself.
You can tap underneath the armpit. This is going to be the greatest day of my life
This is going to be the greatest day of my life
because I am becoming aware
because I am becoming aware
of what I am intentionally creating.
of what I am intentionally creating.
And even though
And even though
I may have some stuff come up
I may have some stuff come up,
and I may need to regulate myself again,
and I may need to regulate myself again,
Rips, I honor,
I honor,
love,
love,
and see myself anyway.
and see myself anyway.
You can stop there. Breathe with us. Sit in your body. Become tension that you've been holding in your body. Notice your head. Notice your forehead. Notice your lips. Relax your jaw. Did you feel that? Relax your shoulders. Let your heart. So that is EFT tapping. That is an example of a safe and clever way to be able to regulate your own emotions, your own triggers and patterns, and to be able to consciously say, I love myself. So good job. That was
Thank you.
great.
Yeah, that was like, it's interesting. Afterwards, I noticed like I felt like calm but stimulated at the same time.
Yes.
And it's
So
like this surge of energy, and at the same time, everything settles down.
you regulated your nervous system while actually energizing the meridian points of the body.
Mm. I love this because I'm always looking for new practices, and this, I know you've never practiced it with me, and some of the people who've been listening may have. Thank you for sharing that with us. It's similar to what I do with the organ reset and the fascia, and so I love it's like directly speaking, using your words to speak to your body. And again, I don't think unless we're regulated, unless we have these tools to regulate ourselves, the words are just going to fly off. But if we can come and use both our body and our voice and say, let's work in harmony together, you feel it. Everything starts to settle, and it's really beautiful to say, okay, I'm gonna see myself at another level, and at the same time, I'm gonna allow the safety to come through.
Yes.
And in my experience, when you do that for enough time, you get to like physically start creating your reality a little bit different.
Yes. You actually heal. You actually completely put the pieces of your puzzle back together to be able to create a brand new view, a brand new structure that is strong to be able to then go out and about in the world changed in a brand new way. Because these things don't have to stick too. The fact is, the great thing about being human is that we get to reach a place where we're healed,
Mm,
period. Where we get to then move on.
yeah.
And those are permanently incorporated lessons. And now we are consistently utilizing a different pattern to consciously create a different reality.
And not only the reality for us, but it just ripples out in so many different directions you don't even know until all
Yes.
of a sudden
The
you
effect
go,
of this podcast, who
yeah,
even knows who's going to listen to it?
yeah.
God bless.
It's so cool because you're like, even the person next to you at the grocery store, at the farmer's market, or whatever, they don't know why, but they can feel your energy. And it's different. And it's allowing them, I talk about this a lot, this entrainment aspect, but it's allowing them to say, huh, okay, something's different. And
Mhm.
then they sit in it long enough, they're like, good, I don't know why.
Mhm.
And it's because the work that you're doing is like so powerful and so strong, and at the same time so deeply impactful in a really beautiful way. And so, yeah, thank you so much for walking me through that. And for everyone else, I hope that you got to follow along and feel it in your body. It's really, really cool. And yeah, I don't think this will be the last time that we meet.
No, I don't think it should be. This is fun.
Yeah,
We have a lot to discuss.
we do.
And the fact is, we'll be able to come back and you can ask questions and be like, how did things go now that we are talking about this?
Yeah.
Because it's not just talk. It can't just be talk. It has to actually be that gentle moving forward and consistency
Mm,
to where it's like, oh, I am now aware of the patterns. I am going to do differently.
yeah.
So I so look forward to our next conversation.
Yeah, me too. Thank you. I'm already dreaming up like new conversations, new practices, new collaborations. And I think this is where we're moving is how can we use everybody's strengths together in a way that creates this coherent field for magic to
For
happen.
absolute magic.
Yeah.
Absolute magic. We are all moving forward. We are going to create things that we are proud of successfully that actually create consistent prosperity and abundance
Mm,
to where, yes, you're worthy. You're completely worthy, no matter what you do. Even if you didn't do what you were doing right now,
yeah.
even if you decided to go sell cars, you would be worthy in being able to know the fact of what you're creating and putting out there is an energy exchange and that
Mm,
you do deserve to receive money. We talked about that a little bit earlier of people's morality. You're worthy.
mm.
You're absolutely worthy.
Well, it's a good one to end on. Just letting that kind of land. And as I do, you'll let us know when your book is out so people can find it. Is there any other resources or ways in which you want people to find you or
Look for future podcast episodes. I am feeling this October 2026. I feel it will be out. Thank you so much for having me
yeah.
on your podcast, Sam.
Thank
It's
you,
been
brother.
such a blast. Again, so divine. So divine being
These
here.
these are the
So
conversations I live for. So I'm just like I'm stoked to be able to know that this is what I get to do. This is what I've chosen to do for fun, for a living, for my stamp on the world, for just existing, right? This
yeah,
is what we get to do and create. So I hope everyone really, really felt it and resonated with it. And yeah, look out for more episodes. We will see you another day, another time, another life. Thank you so much. Blessings to you.
thank you, everybody.
In this episode, we talked a lot about regulating the nervous system, developing your intuition, and strengthening your connection to something bigger than yourself. If this resonated for you, I am building an online community where we do just that. We talk about that in a lot more depth, and I'll be teaching practices on how to really invite this connection back into your body to let your nervous system feel safe to really embody the version of yourself that is much, much more aligned with the person you came here to be. So, if that sounds good, I'll leave a link in the show notes. The first group of people who join this community are really going to be the founders, helping me shape the direction and inform where and how we're going to heal together. So, it's a really exciting opportunity. Hope to see you there. Have a beautiful day, and I'll see you soon.